All right, today we are diving back into the haunted manor of Argynvostholt for a second attempt that goes, well, disastrously. We've got a party of adventurers. They are rested, they're regrouped, and they are about to learn a really brutal lesson. In a place that's literally designed to kill you, sometimes being cautious is the most dangerous thing you can do. Let's break down how one tiny moment of hesitation snowballed into a full-on, desperate retreat.
And this, right here, this is the entire point of the story. You see, in a place as dangerous as Argynvostholt, the normal rules of survival just get thrown out the window. We're about to see how one character, trying to be careful, trying to find the safest footing, actually becomes the trigger for a horrifying ambush. It's the perfect example of how hesitation can get you killed.
So, the party's new plan is all about one thing: speed. Their first try was slow, it was methodical, and it got them absolutely routed. So this time, they're going back in through this ruined ballroom, and the idea is just shock and awe. Go in fast, overwhelm whatever got them before. But as we're about to see, a plan that relies completely on speed just falls to pieces the second someone slows down.
And here you can see exactly where it all goes wrong. The plan starts off perfectly. 3 of the party members, Argynvostholt, Traxidor, and Daerman, they execute, they get through to the next room, no problem. But then there's Radley, the Eldritch Knight. He just pauses. For a split second, he's looking for stable ground in all the rubble. And that one moment of caution, that's the fatal mistake that springs the trap.
And the result is just overwhelming. We're not talking 1 or 2 spiders, 9 of them. And these things are massive, okay? Each one is the size of a horse. They just drop from the ceiling on these thick, disgusting webs, and instantly Radley is cut off from his friends. The safe path he was looking for is now a kill zone, and he is completely, totally alone.
The rest of the party doesn't even realize their knight isn't with them until they hear it. Boom! The sound of his Thunderwave spell. Just this loud, desperate blast of magic. They turn back, and what they see is a total nightmare. Radley's fighting for his life, but he is hopelessly outnumbered. He gets bitten, poisoned, makes a desperate run for the door, only to get caught in a spray of thick, sticky webbing.
And that's when the poison just completely overwhelms him. The source material uses this absolutely chilling line to describe it. He collapses like an abandoned marionette. From the doorway, his friends don't just see him fall, they see the fight just drain out of him. All his strength is just gone. It looks completely hopeless.
What happens next is just pure, desperate chaos. Daerman and Urahorn charge back in. They start hacking Radley free while Traxidor gets a stabilizing spell ready. But even as they're dragging him to safety, another one of those huge spiders lunges out for the final kill, and it only gets cut down at the very last second. Traxidor's final healing spell is a total Hail Mary on a guy who has already stopped breathing, but somehow it's the gamble that saves his life.
So after that incredibly close call, the party has to switch things up. The ground floor is clearly a death trap, so they head upstairs. This time they use a spell of silence to try and get the element of surprise back on their side. You know, they're trying to outsmart the manor, but as they're about to find out, Argynvostholt has plenty of ways to trap its prey.
So they're moving down a hallway, and then slam! A wall of solid, magical stone just materializes out of thin air behind them. There was no trigger, no trap they missed. The house itself just decided they weren't allowed to leave. And then the real trap shows itself, as these spectral soldiers start gliding right through the solid walls around them.
Now, this is a huge tactical problem. As you can see here, their physical weapons are totally useless. Swords, arrows, they just pass right through these phantom warriors like they're not even there. But the ghost swords, oh, those are very, very real. This immediately puts their heaviest hitters on the sidelines and forces them to completely change their strategy. Brute force is useless. Only magic can hurt these things.
And this is where the cleric, Traxidor, basically becomes the MVP. He unleashes his divine power, this wave of pure faith called Turn Undead. For these spectral soldiers, it's like a holy flashbang. Most of them just recoil in terror. They can't stand the energy. It doesn't destroy them, but it buys the party the few crucial seconds they need to focus all their magic on the one ghost that managed to resist it.
With the ghosts dealt with, they turn their attention to a barred door. And Radley, the same guy who is literally moments from death, just puts all of his remaining strength into it and splinters the wood open. You know, after fighting enemies they couldn't even touch, finally facing a problem that can be solved with pure muscle must have felt incredibly good.
And behind that door, they find something that might just be a game changer. It's a small, dusty coffer, and inside are 4 potions of invulnerability. I mean, this is a massive find. Each one of these can make someone temporarily immune to all harm. It's not just a lucky break. It's a powerful tool that might actually give them a real fighting chance in this impossible place.
So, feeling like they've pushed their luck about as far as it can go, the party decides to retreat outside to regroup. They get out of the manor and they see that mysterious wagon they heard earlier is gone. It didn't leave empty-handed, though. It left a package.
Right there, in the middle of their camp, is a single, freshly made coffin. And you can tell it's new. The wood isn't rotten, the nails are clean. The message here could not be clearer. The danger isn't just inside those walls. Death is out here, and it's waiting for them.
But it's not just a general threat. It is deeply personal. Because expertly carved right into the lid is a name. Radley Fullthorn. The very same man who just barely escaped being eaten by giant spiders. This changes everything. It means someone is watching them, someone knows who they are, and someone has already prepared his grave.
So this raises a terrifying question, right? What does this even mean? Is it a warning from the lord of this land, Strahd? Is it some kind of psychological taunt from the revenants inside the manor? Or is there some other, unseen player messing with them? They pry the coffin open, and it's empty, which somehow only makes it even more dreadful. This isn't just a threat, it's an invitation.
At this point, they're exhausted and completely unnerved by the coffin. The party decides they just can't go on. They make camp outside, hoping to just rest. But in the shadow of Argynvostholt, there's no such thing as a real rest. They set up a two-person watch, just trying to survive until morning.
But of course, there's no rest to be found. As you can see on the timeline, in that gloomy pre-dawn light, Dairman spots glowing eyes coming towards them. It's animated scarecrows, enemies they've fought before. The attack is sudden, it's brutal, and while they manage to fight them off, the victory costs them everything. It drains the very last of their reserves.
And this chart just visualizes how dire things have become. I mean, just look at their resources. They're down to their last few spells, so their main weapon against all these horrors is basically gone. Their stamina is shot after fighting 3 battles back-to-back. And maybe most importantly, their morale is completely shattered. They've survived, sure, but they have absolutely nothing left in the tank for another fight.
So, as the first pale light of dawn starts to break, they make the only decision they can. They break camp. They turn their backs on the haunted manor of Argynvostholt. They run.
And that leaves us with the final, really chilling question. Okay, they escaped the manor, but that coffin proves the threat isn't just tied to one building. Their next stop is a winery, a place they're hoping will be safe. But in a cursed land, ruled by a creature like Strahd, you have to wonder, is escaping one nightmare just the fastest way to run straight into the next one?